السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I welcome you all to the class of تهذيب محاضرات في علم الصرف. Inshallah ta'ala, this is the last chapter where we're learning about همزة القطع and همزة الوصل. Why are we learning this? Well, Hamza's rule are a little complicated. And how do you write the Hamzas? Do you write it on a waw? Do you write it on a ya? Like that. So, inshallah, let's begin reading about Hamzas. مواضع الحمزتين, the two Hamzas positions, places. حمزة القطع هي الهمزة التي تظهر في النطق دائما. حمزة القطع is what which appears in the pronunciation always. A, I, U. It comes always. سواء أكانت في بدء الكلام أو في وسطه. So it can come in the starting of the speech أو في وسطه, or in between. وسط يعني or in its between. وسطه. وهمزة الوصل, how about همزة الوصل? هي الهمزة التي لا تظهر في النطق. It does not appear in speech. You'll join it. Ibn, for example, or ism, or al, min al. إلا إذا جاءت في أول الكلام, except when it comes in the beginning of a speech. If nothing comes before it, it will say al-baytu, right? If something comes before it, we'll join it. Min al-baytu. Manil waladu, who's the boy? So sometimes, most of the time, you'll join it with a kasra, except for min. For others, you'll join it with a kasra. Like manil, and others, like you'll join it like wal. ومواضع همزة القطع في العربية. ومواضع همزة القطع في العربية. The positions, remember, in Indian and others, they don't have this difference of Hamzatul Qata and Wasl. Everything is a Hamzatul Qata kind of. They write Wasl, they write everything like a Hamza. But actually, Hamzatul Qata should be written like this or like this, right? And Hamzatul Wasl will be written like this or with a sword on top. That is in the Quran and others. Wasl. So they are positions. So default is Hamzatul Qata. If you want to remember, just remember default should be Hamzatul Qata. Or you write Aslam, for example. You write with a Hamza Aslam. Right? Aslam. You write with a Hamza Qata, not Hamzatul Wasl. Only in selective places will have Hamzatul Wasl. And that is with Al and Amr of 3 letters, as well as, istaghfara, ifti'al. Only in selective places you'll have Hamzatul Wasl. Rest is Hamzatul Qata, but he's giving positions of Hamzatul Qata also. You can go through that way also. الفعل الماضي والرباعي والأمر منه ومصدره. So everything actually. فعل ماضي, رباعي, 4-letter verb. That 4 letters means what? You can count the letters 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 letters. While amru minhu, that is form 4 mostly, or form 4. Aslama yuslimu islam. وذلك مثل أفدت من الكتاب خبر إفادة خير إفادة. And you have benefited from the book خير إفادة, a good beneficial. So أفادة يفيد, this is form 4, no? So you can write here form 4. You should know the forms by now. By the way, there's a video on the 10 forms if you want to watch in 1 hour, in 60 minutes. Then أعذر من أنذر. أعذر, having more excuses. And أنذر also. وأنصف غيرك إنصافك لنفسك. That means be just to others like you are just to yourself, kind of. So فعل ماضي of 4 letters, form 4 mostly. الحروف كلها, all the huruf, all of them are what? Ila, for example. Huruf, not nouns, not verbs. All the huruf, that is Hamzatul Qata. فالحمزة في أوائلها همزة القطع مثل إن وأن وألا وإلى. Inna, indeed. Anna, that. Ala, when you're bringing, behold, grabbing attention. Wa ila, too. Illa, except. Wa ya, and ya also. I mean, in between also. Wa aya. I don't know why he brought ya. but there's no ya in this. But ya, it is a hamzatul because ya is a hamzatul. Uh, okay. Anyways, ya is clear. وغير ذلك غير أنه يستثنى من الحروف همزة في التي تعريف. So this al should not have hamza actually. Is it a mistake? فإنها همزة الوصل. It is همزة الوصل. So only in al it is همزة الوصل. You'll join it. لا قطع. It's not همزة القطع. تنطق في ابتداء الكلام وتسقط في وسطه. So what is the ruling of همزة الوصل? It'll start if nothing comes before it. ابتداء الكلام, you will pronounce it. البيت. If it comes in between, you will not say من البيت. You'll say من كما في مثالي التلميذ المجتهد. See, I joined with this thing. محبوب, the hardworking student, is beloved. Third, الأسماء كلها. See, he's giving a list of همزة القطع, but it's everything. ما عدا المصادر الخماسية والسداسية, except 5 letters and 6 letters. 5 letters خماسية and 6 letters. Because that, like استغفر, انفعل, that is همزة الوصل. فإن الهمزة التي تقع في أول الأسماء عدا هذه المصادر هي همزة القطع. So all the nouns, masadirs, except for 5 letters and 6 letters. That is 3 letters and 4 letters except from 4. Right? But nouns also. So you can count. Ahmed, how many letters? 4 letters. Imam, Ibrahim. Ibrahim is a name, it's not masdar. So all nouns except the masadirs of 5 letters and 6 letters. Like istighfar, 6 letters, no? Masdars, only masdars, huh? Infi'al. So what are the 5 letters one? We start with the hamza. It's from 7, 8, 9, and 10. From 7, 8, 9, 10. Infa'ala, yanfa'ilu, infi'al. From 8, ifta'ala, yafta'ilu, ifti'al. And from 9, if'alla, yaf'alu, if'ilal. And from 10, istaghfara, istaghfiru, istaghfar. Okay? Yeah, 7 to 10. Everything else you should put همزة القطع. أقرب, أسعد. غير أنه استثنى هنا أيضا عند عدة أسماء. Some nouns also are an exception here. جعلت العرب همزتها همزة وصل تنطق في ابتداء الكلام تسقط في وسطه. It is pronounced in the starting and it will be dropped in its middle. There are some names, he says, for example, ismun, some nouns. Ismun itself, a noun. Istun is back. Ibnun, son. Ibnatun. So you have to just memorize this. These are the ones which have Hamzatul Wasl. Imru'un, a man. Imra'atun, woman. Ithnan, ithnatan. It's very easy. And Waimullah. Waimullah is by Allah. Waiman, Waimun Allah, I think. That is by Allah again. أما مواضع همزة الوصل في العربية هي. As for مواضع همزة الوصل, obviously these nouns. But الفعل الماضي الخماسي والسداسي والأمر منهما وصلهما. Form 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or form, yeah. مثل في قوله تعالى الذين إذا اكتالوا يكتالوا form 8. And this is so فعل الماضي of 5 letters and 6 letters. If it starts with a hamza, obviously. والأمر منهما ومصدرهما, the amr and the command. اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون. When they borrow from people, they ask, or when they lend to people, they ask more. يستوفون. وقولنا ما خاب من استخار. He will not lose, he will not fail who does istikhara from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He prays salatul istikhara. ولا ندم من استشار. And he will not, nadima, he will not be ashamed who takes advice. Istishara. So istikhara, how many letters? This is form 10, by the way. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is Hamzatul Wasl. And this is also Hamzatul Wasl. Istishara, istashiru. And ittaqillah, ittaqa, yattaqi is form 8. ittaqillah haythuma kunt. Fear Allah wherever you are. وَنَحْوَ وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. Ista'ana is form 10. And fasta'in is also amr. When you seek help from Allah. وَمِثْلُ اعْتِدَالُ الْمَرْءِ وَاسْتِقَامَتُهُ مِمَّا يُوصِلُهُ إِلَى النَّجَاحِ. And the balance of a person and his istiqama, steadfastness, it what reaches, makes him reach to najah. So all these are what? Wasl. Why? Form 8. So remember form 7 to 10. Nouns, these are the nouns. Ibnun, ismun, ibnun. ibnatun, imratun, these are the specific nouns, and verbs from 7 to 10. You should know the forms, no? And فعل الأمر من الثلاثي as well as فعل الأمر من الثلاثي. Remember فعل الأمر from 3 letters from book 2. If you've done Medina book 2, it is that فاذكروني. ذكر يذكر، أمر أذكر، جمع أذكروا. Remember me أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفروا. Wow is missing, I believe. ولا تكفرون, do not disbelieve. وقوله عز وجل يا أيها الذين آمنوا اركعوا واسجدوا واعبدوا ربكم وافعلوا الخير لعلكم تفلحون. Oh, you believe, do ruku and do sajda and worship your Lord and do good, perhaps you will be successful. So, irka'u, usjudu, wa'budu, all these are hamzah al-wasl. And al-ta'rifiyya, al of ta'rifiyya. The al which is comes بعض الأسماء المسموعة يعني العرب مثل اسم وابن ابنة امرأة. This is what we did. تسمى همزة القتل ألفا محموزة. So number 3 is this. Number 4 is بعض الأسماء. So I believe you should remember Hamzatul Wasl is very simple. Wasl comes only in 4 places, you could remember. Wasl comes in 4 places. What is that? Ibn, ism, some nouns. In verbs, amr from 1, that is idha, if'al, uf'ul like unsur, and then from 7 to 10, everything from 7 to 10. Correct? And al, just 4 places. So generally speaking, you should go by default to Hamzatul Qata because these 4 are specific places. So Hamzatul Qata, you'll write alif mahmuza. Amma Hamzatul Wasl fatursamu mujarrada min al hamza. How's it written? It's written without any hamza. So which is this hamza? This is Hamzatul Wasl. Which is this hamza? This is Hamzatul Qata. It could be written hamza on top or below if it's a kasra like Islam. Okay. Harakatu Hamzatul Wasl. How do you give the harakats? Okay, the second topic. Harakatul Wasl عند الابتداء بها في الكلام ليست واحدة. Hamzatul Wasl, right? Ibnun, ismun. It has a kasra. You can see ibnun. And then al has a fatha. So it's not one. لأنها تأتي تارة مفتوحة. Sometimes it comes مفتوحة. Sometimes مضمومة. In amr it will be dhamma, unsur. كما تأتي مكسورة كذلك للنحو. It will come kasra also. We are talking about what? We are talking about Hamzatul Wasl, the joining Hamza. So تفتح همزة الوصل في أول التعريفية. So how do you get? You should know this. You've done this before if you've done Madina books. For التعريفية it will be المرء مخبوء تحت طي لسانه لا تحت طي لسانه. طي لسانه. I don't know what. طي لسان is this cloak. Okay. طي لسان. So a person is hidden beneath the folds of his tongue. طي is folding. لا تحت طي لساني. Similar words. So ultimately, al-mar'u has a fatha, no? Al-mar'u has a fatha. وَنَحُ الثَّعْلَبُ حَيْوَانٌ مَعْكِرٌ. The fox is a cunning animal. وَنَحُ الْفَتَاةُ تُسَاعِدُ. We are giving fatha. الْفَتَاةُ تُسَاعِدُ أُمَّهَا فِي الْبَيْتِ. And the girl helps her mother in the house. وَنَحُ الدِّينُ نَصِيحَةٌ. Deen is nasiha, sincerity. Okay. تضم أو تضم همزة الوصل في حالتين. همزة الوصل is given dhamma in 2 situations. In 2 situations. What is this? First one, الماضي ماضي الخماسي والسداسي المبني للمجهول. If it is passive, you should know how to make passive this thing. ماضي الخماسي والسداسي المبني للمجهول تضم همزة الوصل في حالتين. ماضي الخماسي والسداسي. The past tense of 5 letters and 6 letters, which is passive. Like اعتدى علينا فرددنا الاعتداء. We were transgressed upon اعتدى. See, this has a dhamma, so this will get dhamma. افتعل علينا فرددنا الاعتداء. So we returned the transgression. واستشير الصديق الوفي فأخلص النص. استشير الصديق. The istishara is to seek advice. The friend, the faithful friend was sought advice. فأخلص النص. Maybe this is Amr. So be sincere in the advice. استشير. So this has Dhamma, so this has Dhamma. And then Amru Sulathi al-Madmum al-Ain fil Mudare. If the Mudare has Ain, here also you can see the third letter has Dhamma, no? I mean, you give Dhamma. Like Unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazluman. So why is it Dhamma? Well, because this has Dhamma. Help your friend if it's an oppressor or an oppressed. وَنَحُ أُسْكُتْ تَسْلَمْ مِنَ الْخَطَأِ. Stay silent, you'll be safe from mistakes. And the third is تكسر حمزة الوصل فيما عدا ذلك من الأحوال. So fatha where you'll give in al, dhamma where you'll give in two situations. One is majhul and the second is in amr. Rest all places you'll give kasra. مثل إن جلت الغمة وجاء النصر. This the sadness went away. In Jala, so it was cleared and help came in Jala. وَنَحُ إِسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ فِي أُمُورِكَ. Seek Allah, help of Allah in your matters. وَمِثْلُ إِخْشَى اللَّهَ فِي السِّرِّ وَالْعَلَنِ. Fear Allah in secret and in openly. وَنَحُ إِسْتِشَارَةُ ذَوِي الرَّأْيِ مِنَ الْحَزْمِ فِي الْأُمُورِ. Advice of the people of advice. ذَوِي الرَّأْيِ, and people who have good opinions. من الحزم من الأمور is from the hazm, is from the good things of the matter. You'll reach the correct decision. As determination. Resoluteness. ومثل, this is all kasra. اثنان لا يشبعان طالب علم طالب. Two people are never satisfied. This is a hadith, no? Man humani la yashba'an. One is a seeker of knowledge, and the second is talibu mal, and the seeker of wealth. All right. Now, خلاصة في ضوابط ترميز الهمزة تبيينها في مالي. And the summary is that نبينها. We will explain it in follows. أولا أن هذه الضوابط تقوم على الدعائم التالية. These are on the following foundations. So how do you write the Hamza? This is the most complicated thing till now. I mean, in this chapter, it's not complicated. It's just a lot of rules. So get ready for some foundational principles. So you have to see now. Di'ama is a singular of da'im, pillars. You have to see now if this is a Hamza which is in the starting, in middle, or at the end. أن هذه الضوابط. So the first one, تقدر أواخر الكلمات ساكنة دائما. The last letter is estimated that it is sukun always. لأن الخط العربي مبني على الوقت. Because the Arabic, khat writing is depending on waqt. Okay, so assume that it has sukun. So first is it has sukun. تكره الكتابة العربية توالي الأمثال. So first rule is give sukun at the end. Imagine there's a sukun. Like Muhammadun, imagine there's Muhammad. Okay, let's see what he does with that. And تكره الكتابة العربية توالي الأمثال. And Arabic does not like to write similar letters. It's called توالي. Hamza. A lot of Hamzas, they don't like 3 letters. ولذلك يكتب الحرف المضاعف حرفا واحدا في مثل قدم. That is why when you have muda'af, no, double letters, it will be written like قدم. وكذلك كتب الحجازيون قديما. حجازيون, they wrote before داوود ورؤوس وشؤون بواو واحدة هكذا. And Dawood, it's literally 2 vowels, no? They wrote it with 1. So in the Quran, you'll find Dawood written and Ru'us also. With Hamza nowadays, we have Ru'us. But Shu'un with 1 vowel. Shu'un, it's Shu'un actually. And the third is, so the second rule is no dual repetitions kind of. Generally, they avoid that. تُعَدُّ من الكلمات اللواحق التي تتصل بآخرها مثل الضمائر. كلمة اللواحق which meet, which join with its ending, like ضمائر وعلامة التثنية. So all these pronouns which join at the end, no, uh, they'll be considered part of it. والجمع والألف. علامة التثنية is what? ألف, like كتاباني, and جمع is like مسلمون. وألف المنصوب, when it is منصوب حامدا, you'll write the ألف. ولا يعد منها ما دخل عليها من حروف الجر والعطف. So you'll consider all the pronouns and all that part of it. Like ضمائرها. So how will you write it? We'll write it normally. It's considered a part of it. But حروف الجر and عطف and أداة التعريف al is not considered part of it. Sin, Hamza, Istifham is not considered, because we have to see if it's the previous letters of Dhamma or the Fatha and all that. So he's clarifying what is a part of it and what is not. So what is a part of it? Pronouns, duals, and waw, noon, and all those. Una, ani, and hu, ha, huma, hum, he, huma, hunna. All right. الحركات والسكون والفي الكلمة ترتب من ناحية القوة ترتيبها تنازليا. I think this is تنازل. So تنازليا على النحو التالي. In the following way: الكسرة ثم الضمة ثم الفتحة ثم السكون. This is an important golden rule you should remember. This is a power struggle. Who is more powerful? The most powerful is the kasra, and then dhamma, and then fatha. If this is a line, for example, dhamma, and then fatha, and then sukoon. So remember, if you want to remember the rule: kasra, dhamma, fatha, and then sukoon. Katfas or something, right? You can remember like this: katfas or kudfas, whatever you want to make. It doesn't make sense, but just remember, kasra is the most powerful one. Any war between kasra dhamma, who will win? Kasra will win. Any war between kasra and fatha, who will win? Kasra will win. Any war between kasra and sukoon, who will win? Kasra will win. This is a war which is going on, right? Because kasra is the superpower. Kasra, it'll win. We'll see how it'll win. But remember, kasra wins all the time. Then we have dhamma power. Dhamma is like second best. Okay. Any war between dhamma and kasra, who will win? Kasra will win. But dhamma, fatha, dhamma will win. Fatha is the most chill guy. Remember like that. Fatha is like, it goes with anything. So it's the most weakest. Sukoon is like sukoon. Obviously, it will be the most weakest. It's not a haraka at all. So it should be in the last. But fatha is like chill. Dhamma and kasra, the strongest one is kasra. Okay, so remember this rule: kasra first, dhamma second, fatha third, and sukoon last. 1, 2, 3, 4. How will we apply? Will come like this. تتلخص قواعد كتابة الهمزة بعد ذلك في القواعد التالية. So remember the 4 rules he said. First is, imagine it's just sukoon at the end, fine. The second is no twins. Tawali al-mithal, they avoid. And pronouns are part of it. And power struggle. And kasra, that is qaf, dots, qad, and fas. Katfas is the power struggle. Okay. First one, tuktabul hamza fi awwalil kalima. So first we'll think about if it is in the starting of the word. Bi alifin mutlaqan. Starting, it will be written on an alif of always. Okay, for example, a. How will it be written? Like this. If it is e, like this, it will be written on an alif or below an alif, whatever. U, like this. Same thing. So we are talking about the chair of the hamza. Okay, the chair of the hamza. Is it waw? Is it ya, alif? Because hamza could be written like this, could be written like this. This is the chair of that, no? It could be written on a waw. All are hamzas. Could be written ya, kursi, chair. All are hamzas. So where will it be this? That's the problem. So we have to find out. So first, in the starting, it's always hamza. Always starting. E, like this. U, like this. Unsur or not unsur. Aslim, like that. So أما في الوسط أو في الآخر فإنه ينظر إلى حركتها. As for the middle, so in the starting, remember it's always Hamza. So you can write down starting always Hamza. Written on Alif, written on Alif. Starting always written on Alif. This is important. Amma fil wasat. As for in between. So what about now Hamza is in between? Awil akhir. We're talking about Hamzas, not Alifs. I mean, Hamzatul Wasl is fine. This is Hamzatul Qata. A, I, U. It comes in between. Sa'ir, for example. Aw fil akhir. Or at the end. فَإِنَّهُ يُنْظَرُ إِلَى حَرَكَتِهَا. We'll look at its haraka, power struggle. So we'll look at the haraka of the Hamza. Is it A, I, U, and وَحَرَكَةُ مَا قَبْلَهَا. And the previous letters haraka. Is it A, U, I? Look at these two. Its own neighbors, previous neighbors. وَتُكْتَبُ عَلَى مَا يُوَافِقُ أَقْوَى الْحَرَكَتَيْنِ. So whichever is stronger, we will take it. For example, just for example, we'll see examples before. If this is kasra and the previous letter has a dhamma, who will win? Kasra wins. Remember, right? Kasra wins. Power struggle, always kasra wins. Okay. If this has a dhamma, the previous letter has a fatha, who will win? And dhamma wins. So we'll write the hamza on a waw. Like that. So aqwal harakatain, the most strongest one. We'll look at Hamza's haraka as well as the previous haraka. Now, we're just understanding how do we write the harakas. Okay. فَتُكْتَبُ الْحَمْزَةُ عَلَى الْيَاءِ فِي مِثْلِ. It will be written on a hamza, on a ya, like mustahzi'in. Now let's look at the word mustahzi'in. Mustahzi. Oh, now I don't know how should I write a hamza. So I'll write it like this, okay? In. I don't know how to write. I'm just confused, like what should be. So what we do, we look, it's in between, right? We'll look at this mustazi in, both have kasra. So it'll be written on a ya. It'll be written like this. Mustahzi in. All right. Simple, right? Words. You have to look at the words between these two. Mustahzi in. Well, munshi'un. Okay, let's look at the word munshi'un. I just heard it. Dictation. I have to write it munshi'un. So, sheen has a dam kasra. Hamza has a dhamma. So, will it be written like this? Munshi'un? No. The dhamma wins, no? So, it'll be written on a wow. Munshi'un. Munshi'un, the one who established something. Ansha yunshu. Munshi'. Munshi'un, origin also, source, originator, builder. Yatma innu. Okay, let's look like Yatma innu. Oh, this looks like Hamza. So, Mim has a fatha. I. Hamza has a kasra. It will be written on a ya. Like that. Right? I hope you're getting I'm trying to explain. This might be new totally. But we'll go slowly. Yatma innu. Why? Why is it written on ya? Well, there's a word between Hamza and Mim. So, and it has kasra. Hamza has a kasra. Mim has a fatha. So, which wins? The Hamza wins. Hamza wins. All right. The kasra wins. So, if it's a kasra, you write it on a ya. Afidatuhu. Okay, let's write afida. This has a sukun. Okay, this has a sukun. Obviously, kasra wins. Afidatuhu. It'll be written on a ya. His heart. Or afida, that's fi'atun. Fi'atun, oh, kasra. And this has a fatha. Right? So, will it be written like this? Fi'atun. Why not on an alif? Well, who's winning here? The fa is winning here. Why? Because it has a kasra. So, this will be written on a kasra. Ji'tana. Oh, G. And then this has a sukun. You'll get used to it sometimes. I just wrote it without thinking. But Ji'tana, Jim has a kasra, no? So Jim is winning. Because sukun has I mean, Hamza has a sukun. So who will win? Obviously, Jim will. So you have to write it on a ya. Jitana. You came to us. Why? لأن الكسرة تغلب على كل الحركات والسكون. Because kasra is winning all of these places. Right? All kasra wins all the time. Qabd, fas. All the time. كما أنها تكتب على واو مثلا, and it will be written on a wow. Same thing, same rule applies. You look at Hamza's, Hamza's haraka and the previous letter's haraka. You'll do a comparison. Whichever is stronger, you'll put the Hamza on that letter. Right? Like ya ummu. See who's winning here? Is it Fatha winning or Dhamma is winning? No, Dhamma wins with Fatha. So ya ummu will be written on a Amma ya ummu. He becomes the leader. Yu'addi. Okay. So somebody says Yu'addi. So how do I write Yu'addi? I don't know. Well, this has a Dhamma Yu'addi. So it will be written like this, or like this, or like this. So I don't know. It will be written like what? So I'll write it like a Hamza. Or just imagine in my brain who's winning, who's winning. Hamza has a Fatha. Oh, Ya has a Dhamma. Oh, Ya is winning. So you write it on a wow. Yu'addi. Correct? Su'ul. Su'ul is also a question, su'al. Or it might be su'al also. Su'ul. Su'ulaka ya Musa. It comes in the Quran. Here, whatever you ask. So su'ul, Hamza has a sukun, previous letter has a dhamma. Who's winning? Who's winning? Dhamma wins. Obviously. So you write it on the wow. Awliya uhum. Awliya. Okay, this has a sukun, right? Awliya. Because if there's nothing, there's a sukun. Awliya uhum. Should I write it like this? Oh no, it's a dhamma. So who's winning? Dhamma with sukun? Sukun is winning. Dhamma is winning. So awliya uhum. You write it like this. لأن الضمة تغلب الفتحة والسكون, because dhamma, so kasra wins with all, dhamma wins with fatha and sukun. وتكتب على الألف في مثال, and same thing applies. So you can try it out. سأل, يسأل, كأس. Who's winning? Sukun and fatha. Fatha wins. So once you understand the rule, it's like kasra wins all, dhamma wins with fatha and sukun, fatha wins only with sukun, sukun doesn't win at all. But it has some situations, right? It'll come below where we'll write with the sukun. لأن الفتحة تغلب السكون, because fatha overpowers sukun. So if you want to write it like this in English, like maybe. So kasra wins all, no? So we can put this, what do you call it? The greater symbol. Then we can write it fully. Kasra. Then what? Dhamma is greater than fatha, and then is greater than sukun. Correct? I hope you understand. Kasra wins all of these guys. Dhamma wins against fatha and sukun. Fatha wins against just sukun. So this is a golden rule of ours. Golden rule of Hamza. Kasra is greater than dhamma, is greater than fatha, is greater than sukun. This war you have to remember. Now, how about but'un? وفي مثل بطء. What's happening here? But'un. Should I write it on like this or what? Right? So imagine there's both have sukun. Like he said, remember the first rule? Imagine there's a sukun. So both have sukun. So who will win? Sukun wins. So when both have sukun, what will you do? You'll write it Hamza on the line. Okay. So all you can remember, like second last letter has a sukun, because it doesn't matter. Both. Mil'un. 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 So because you'll get confused with this, that's why he gave the first rule. But some people have another rule to explain this, and they say that, well, the last Hamza, if the second last letter has a sukun, you'll write it on the line. That is also fine. Shay'un. Tuktabul hamzatu ala satr. Why is it written on the line? Because the second last letter has a sukun. If you want to remember like that. If you want to make a rule, the last Hamza, Hamzatul mutatarrifa, they explain that if you look at the previous letter, If the previous letter has a sukun, you write it on la. لأن أواخر الكلمات تقدر ساكنة. But if you just remember the word thing, middle letter, last letter, all that, forget it. Forget all that. As you remember the four rules, the first set, it is assumed that it is a sukun. وقبلها في هذه الأمثلة سكون. The previous letter is also sukun. فليس هناك حركة تكتب الحمزة لما يوافقها. So there's no حركة. So you'll write it on the line. لذلك تكتب مفردة على السطر. That is why it's written on the line. Okay, because some people, what they give three types of rules. In the beginning, it's always Hamza. In the middle, you do the war thing. In the last thing, you look at the previous letter. That also you can remember like that. Like shay'un, you remember. We'll see examples inshallah. There's some note also you have to remember this. إذا ترتب على كتاب الهمزة على ألف أو واو توالي الأمثال في الخط. Now if there's double, so many vowels and توالي الأمثال, so many vowels, كتبت الهمزة على السطر. This is an important rule because now exceptions and all that come. Istisna and also the exceptions. If there's so many letters, they write it on the line. مثل يتساءلون. Let's find out what's happening with يتساءلون. Okay, okay, I wrote it like this. Now should I write like this? يتساءلون. How should I write it? This has a sukun, and then I write it like this. I'm just for sake. I'm not confirming this. So literally, what should have happened is Fatha is winning, no? Fatha is winning. So you should have written like this. Yatasaaluna. Like this. Correct? But these guys, they don't like, please look at this. One alif, then alif, and lam also similar, no? So they were like, I don't want so many letters. Let's break up the rule and write Hamza in between. Why not follow the rule? Well, this is a malhuda. So you follow the power struggle unless you have similar letters. Tawalil amthal comes. Then you write it on the line. Forget it. Forget all the rules. Yatasaaluna. Ru'us. Okay, let's write ru'us. Should I write it? Okay, this is Dhamma. And this should also have Dhamma, no? Ru'us. Ru'us. Now, what's the problem here? Oh, already one of the wow is coming. Tawalil amthal. So, like this. All right, like this. Ru'us. إلا إذا كان ما قبلها من الحروف ما يوصل ما بعدها فإنها تكتب على نبرة. Or if the previous huruf makes it reach the following, then it's written on a number. A number is what, like this? The ya, that is, it's written on a ya, nabra. Like but'an. But now, should I write it on like this? But'an. But you have to join it now. So it's not actually a ya. It's like a nabra kind of, like it's like a boat kind of. They call it nabra, but you can remember as a ya, written on a ya, like but'an, because we have to give an alif also, no? So it's fine. It's fine here. So this is understood. Because but'an, this is like fatha, it should have actually been written but, sukun and fatha is willing, so this should have been like this, but, and again alif like this, which sounds so weird. They don't like this, see? So they write it like this. They could have written it like this, but again, they don't like this hamza and alif. So you can remember an if it comes at the end, write it on a ya. So a lot of exceptions, no? But don't remember the exceptions because exceptions are exceptions. There'll be less. Shu'un. Okay, let's say shu'un. Should I write it like this? Shu'un, wow, known. Why not like this? Well, the ma and the ma both are winning. Correct? So I should have written it like this. But he says what? إلا إذا كان ما قبلها من الحروف. There's some huruf which makes it reach مما بعده. فإنها تكتب على نبرة. شؤون. Should I have written like this? Yeah. So why is it written on nabra? Because why? شؤون like this. إلا إذا كان ما قبل من الحروف there are حروف before it مما from what يوصل بما بعدها. What makes it real? You can say the same thing for ru'us, no? Then what's the difference between ru'us and shu'un? I have no idea. So why not for shu'un? You can help me out with this, right? Because shu'un and ru'us, ru'us is written like this. So I know ru'us can also be written uh, on a wow. But they're not writing on a wow. Ru'us. Ru'us. Hmm. So that's plural is ru'us. They are writing on a wow. They're not following this rule of double in the modern one. Maybe in other places they are writing it like this. But ru'us is generally written as like this. Ru'us. Because you just look, okay, Dhamma. So the following this thing is not maintained. Shu'un is also written like this from, right? Because they didn't follow this rule. So we'll forget this rule as of now. Yeah, Shu'un is written with a Hamza. It's written like that's why it sounds weird. Itasa'aluna, yeah, I think Itasa'aluna is written like this, but Ru'us and Shu'un is written on the bar. So if you get this malhuda, but generally, if it is duals, double, you can do this. And there are some two more exceptions. إذا وقعت الحمزة في أول الكلمة وبعدها ألف المد استغنى عنها بعلامة المد فوق الألف مثل. So two hamzas when they're joining, you'll put a hamzatul mad. We've learned this before also. Becomes Adam. Adam becomes Adam. Kulu, I eat. Akhir, last, al-ana. You'll join them and make them mad. ويحدث هذا على قلة في وسط الكلمة في بعض الأمثلة, and it comes in between also. It says Qur'an. So it was like Qur'an. So Hamza and then like this, and both will join. So two Hamzas ultimately they'll join. No, the rule which we'll learn. Mir'atun also becomes a mad. Al-fathatu ba'da al-waw is sakina. The second exception is this is fine. Two Hamzas coming is fine. Dual Hamzas. الفتحة بعد الواو الساكنة تعد بمنزلة السكون. الفتحة, there's a fatha after واو الساكنة. After واو ساكنة, it will be considered as سكون. كما تعد الياء الساكنة في وسط الكلمة بمنزلة الكسرة. It will be taken considered as سكون, it says. Okay. And ya as will be considered as a kasra. Okay. ولذلك تكتب الهمزة مفردة. That is why it will be written. Exception is muru. Let's look at muru. Muru. This is wow with the sukun. Now this has a sukun, no? So it should be written actually like this. Muru. But why is it written on a line? Because this is considered as a sukun. This is considered as sukun. Actually, you should go back to this muru. It's written on a line, it says. Why? Al-fathatu ba'da al-waw. So after waw, this is fatha, no? After waw, sukun, there's a fatha here. Muru'ah. Tu'addu bi manzilati sukun. It'll be considered as sukun. Kama tu'addu liya as-sakina fi wasatil kalima. So muru'ah is fine. So exception again. How will you remember all these things? But remember the power struggle. That's the basic rule. For the line which is written like this, you have to see if there's a waw sakina or not. So we can draw a flow chart maybe. If this rule applies. If waw sakina comes after fatha, then it's considered as sukun and written on a line. Shanu'ah. Shanu. Waw sukun. So write it like this. Shanu'ah. A tribe name. Walan yasu'aka. So waw sakina. So fatha after waw sakina, give it. Write it on the line. Yasu'aka, he harms you. Walan yasu'aka, he will not harm. Inna daw'aka, your light. Daw. كما تكتب الحمزة للنبرة, and it will be written on a ya, that is like a nabara. هيئة. So هيئة. So this is what, this is the second one. Ya sakina fi wasl kalam bimanzilatil kasra. It's as if it's a kasra. So hayya, this should win, no? Fatha should win. So, but it will be written hayya. Situation, hayya, the way you're sitting. Yai asu. So ya with the sukun is considered like a kasra. Ba with the sukun is considered like a sukun. Khati'ah. Khati. Khati. Oh, ya with the sukun has come. So write it on the ya. Okay. Khati'a, mistake. Bari'a, to be free. And mashi'a is to wish. Mashi'a is to wish. Mashi'atun. Mashi'a is to wish. Okay. Inshallah, we'll do one more session where we'll come back and read all of these rules again. But remember the power struggle about this. And next time we'll write down the rules also. Inshallah, if I remember. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll write down the rules and then we'll apply those rules to write the Hamza. Because generally we do each class 2 times, all the rules 2 times, inshallah ta'ala. But this is a summary of how to write Hamza. How to write Hamza, a little complicated, but you'll get used to it generally most of the time. You'll not think about a khati'ah, you'll not think about writing it all the time. You look at the word so many times, you'll not remember the rule. But these are the rules for how to write Hamzas. Inshallah, we'll do this in our next class again. And inshallah, we will finish with the exercises. With that, we'll be done with the book. Barakallahu feekum, Jazakallahu Khairan. Subhanakallahumma yuhamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.